What's going on, everybody? Ship here. Okay, so honestly, this game can be downright confusing, especially if you're new to it or you're looking at it from afar and you have no idea what's going on. So let's break it down. We have three different classes, as we know: a Titan, a Warlock, and a Hunter. And as you'll see here, I'm going to pull up. I'm on my Warlock. We have subclasses. What the hell does this mean? Sun, purple. What is this purple thingy, majiggy? Nova, Voidwalker, what is it? What does it mean? All right, well, let's talk about this quickly. First thing we're going to get into is Sunsinger. So it's really important to notice that all these different perks you have on these trees should constantly be changing for you, depending on the circumstance that you find yourself. So right now, the loadout you're looking at is my Sunsinger build for PvE. So first thing you'll notice, I always run solar grenades. In PvE, these are the best, I find. Because with the firebolt grenade and the fusion grenade, so this is the guy that you can stick to people, and this is the one that's going to burn people, the firebolt. So those are both great grenades. But I find in PvE, this is, for me personally, going to be the best. Okay, so then we move on to our jump. So I use focus burst. Sometimes people talk about the Warlock jump being a little laggy. So I find with the burst, it kind of helps a little bit. You get some speed, especially if you have some momentum. Next, we're going to move on to our super, which is Radiance. And you'll notice in PvE, I'm running Fireborn, which is great. You can come back from the dead if you happen to die, which obviously, shit happens. Next tree, a lot of people run Solar Wind and Brimstone. It's fun killing someone and having them explode. But you'll notice actually that when I'm running Brimstone, my armor is actually reduced a little bit. So I run Flame Shield. Obviously, damaging an enemy with Scorch reduces incoming damage for a short time, so that's incredibly helpful. Plus, you get extra armor. One thing you'll notice between all my perk trees is that my armor is pretty much always jacked up, whether it be PvE or PvP. So you'll notice Arcane Force, Sunburst is nice because you can, when you're running with a fire team, you can make orbs for them, compared to Viking Funeral, which I don't find is that helpful in PvE. And then Radiant Will, which increases the range of radiance, but I just find the Sunburst is more effective for making orbs for your teammates. So the last thing for defense, you'll notice that I'm running Divine Order, so that, as we see, maximizes my armor once again, which is incredibly helpful. Last perk is Gift of the Sun that I love running. Having 2 grenades is beautiful. It's absolutely fantastic. So that's something that's really nice to have on you. Next thing up is Angel of Light and Touch of Flame. So Touch of Flame we'll get into now when we switch to our PvP build. Angel of Light, basically what it does is when you're ADS aiming down sights in the air, it actually holds you in place, which is helpful in certain situations like the Flame Prince and Prison of Elders. Otherwise, I don't find it's that helpful. So double grenades it is. So now let's move on to the PvP build for Sunsinger. So first things first, if you're running a control or clash based, sometimes it's nice running fusion grenades because you can stick people with them. I know we've all been there where you're like, holy shit, how did he hit me with that? Well, it's if you're pretty skilled with these things, they're friggin' deadly. But when you're running trials or skirmish or salvage, anything 3-man fire team based, I would definitely run Firebolt grenade. And we're actually going to adjust in the perk tree depending on which grenade we're running. So Solar, like I said, is great in PvE, kind of disregarded in PvP. One of my buddies the other day asked if one of the guys on the other team was trying to boil pots. We almost all had heart attacks laughing because the solar grenade. So yeah, pretty useless in PvP. So if you're running Firebolt or Fusion, like I said, depending on the game mode you're running, be aware of it. Trials, definitely go Firebolt. Jump pretty much stays the same. If you're playing Control or Clash, you're probably better off running Radiant Skin and activating that super before you die rather than running Radiance. Reason being is you have literally Radiant Skin. It's harder to kill you, plain and simple. So you can make more orbs for your teammates. You can be a little more destructive. Next thing up, same thing, Flame Shield, extra armor always. Unless you're tagged with a grenade, you won't be killed by one. So that's why armor is so important. Then we get over once again Arcane Force. I like to have my agility, not at the bottom, especially since Warlocks don't move that quick. Viking Funeral is pretty much a must. I love running these Firebolt. So with Firebolt and Viking Funeral, combine that with Touch of Flame. This is a deadly combination, and I see a lot of guys in trials not running this. And this is something I probably shouldn't advertise, but most players know this at this point, that this is the right loadout to build for Trials of Osiris. So Firebolt, Viking Funeral, and Touch of Flame. So Angel of Light will more often than not get you killed in PvP, and Gift of the Sun. If you're running Fusion Grenades and Control, like if you're going this one, Control or Clash, that's pretty decent because you can stick 2 guys. So that's pretty good. So, but like I said, Touch of Flame, that, and then Firebolt, you're good to go. So next thing we're going to go is to the Voidwalker class. So for PvE or PvP, this pretty much stays the same for me. If I'm running most of the time in some heavy duty PvE stuff, I'll generally be running Radiance just in case. But for going around, messing around, having some fun, I love Axion Bolt. So unless you're running Nothing Manacles, the Scatter Grenades are, those are pretty wicked. But with the Nothing Manacles, with the tracking and the additional grenade, they're deadly. So that's pretty wicked. But for the most part, I love running Axion Bolt. Literally chases after your enemies, whether that be PvE or PvP. So personally, I'm a big fan of Blink. I love it. It's a lot of fun to play, whether it be in PvE or PvP. But otherwise, you're probably going to want to go same thing, Focus Burst, if you're not running Blink. Next thing is Vortex. This really is personal preference. Lance, if you need to throw a Nova Bomb that goes across the map, then this is the one. Shatter is good for PvP maps like Asylum on Venus, where you'll have a lot of people in closed hallways, where this can do quite a bit of damage. My personal favorite is the Vortex, though. I love playing Control, so dropping one of these on the special or the heavy ammo or onto a zone, you'd be amazed how many people walk into the that Vortex after, and it ends up killing them. So it's something to consider for sure, because I think a lot of people end up running Shatter or Lance. Lance, I'm not a huge fan of. It's actually the only time that it's worth using is, I find, like on combined arms. So next thing is the energy drain perk tree. So I love running Surge, but you'll also see Lifesteal. The reason why I don't run Lifesteal is because I run the Ram a lot of times, and it kind of makes this perk useless. So I go for Surge, and as you'll see, it increases weapon and movement speed. So it helps. It's pretty sweet. And then the next thing is Soul Rip. It reduces the cooldown of your Nova Bomb. So if you have your intellect pretty high up, this may help. But if you don't, if you're lacking in intellect, then Soul Rip may be a good option for you. So I run Arcane Force, and then I also run Divine Order, which gives me max armor. And then I run Angry Magic. So I find that a lot of times the Nova Bomb, actually, people say that it doesn't track, but it actually does a little bit. So and it gives you increased armor, as we'll see, right? So the Hunger increases the duration of the energy drain effect, and Annihilate increases the size of explosions created by Nova Bomb and grenades. Next thing up is Vortex Mastery, Bloom, and Embrace the Void. So all three are great perks. I love Bloom. And the reason being is with the Axion Bolt, the Axion Bolt grenade, this guy here, along with the Vortex, when you kill people with these abilities, they explode. So anyone standing around them can actually get killed by collateral damage, which you'll notice sometimes, you're where you would get 1 kill, you get 2 kills, and sometimes where you're going to get 2 kills, you could get 3 kills, which is pretty sweet. So maximizing the amount of damage you can do is, in my books, always the best bet. So this is maximizing your Warlock in PvE and PvP. So I'll release later on this week Hunter and Titan rundown. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like. Lots of loves and thanks for all the people who've been supporting me and checking out all my vids. If you have been, lots of love for you. I greatly appreciate it. And that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care. Cheers.